I was like, I'm so excited to punch Damian. I'm so excited because it was so funny in the manga, and he really fooled me. He was like, yeah, they didn't put it in the anime. They didn't do it.
Hey Popverse, Veronica, Valencia here, and I am joined today by two of the very talented cast voice actors from the hit anime series Spy Family, Megan Shipman and Natalie Van Sistine. How are you?
Yeah,
doing great.
Super good, yeah.
So obviously Spy Family, season 1 has premiered. We're into a few episodes of season 2. What has it been like being a part of, honestly, like one of the biggest anime titles airing right now?
It's been really crazy because you never really know when something is going to blow up the way it has. So to have it be on this big of a scale where you have people that are like, here's my baby dressed as Anya, to like a grandpa or someone being like, oh yeah, I watch it with my kids or my family or whatever. And it's super special to realize just how big and how accessible it is to so many people. So yeah, it's a lot, but it's cool.
Yeah, same. Like I just keep repeating it. I feel like I've been in a collective fever dream with everyone since March when it happened and like when we first started working on it. So it's been crazy. Like I never in a million years thought I'd get to come to London or do anything like this. So it's wild and I'm having a great time.
Now in voice acting, when you are going through the audition process, you can sometimes maybe see a visual of the character and maybe even in other circumstances you'll hear the Japanese voice actor for reference. When you were auditioning and kind of creating the voices in your mind, were there multiple options? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, for me, when we auditioned, there was only 3 characters. It was Twilight, Yor, and Anya. And when I auditioned for Anya, the only thing out was the trailer, and luckily it was, I think, the second trailer where they had kind of all the actors talking a little bit in there, and so I was able to hear what Anya sounded like and what Yor sounded like, and really like pull from that, and also just noticing like, oh, she's really funny. Anya's the funny one. Even in the trailer, she was the comedic relief, so it really helped me figure out, okay, I have to make her funny. She's not just a little kid, she's a funny little kid. She just says things, and yeah, so it was really helpful to like see that, or at least a little bit of it, because you can really get a sense of who they are, even just from that one little trailer. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to like totally contradict you, but
You did the opposite.
Well, when I was looking for material, because I was really curious how the character was going to sound, because I knew for a fact, I was like, there's no way I'm going to qualify for Anya. So I was just like, I'm not even going to try. I was really focused on preparing for Yor, and the materials I was looking for, they didn't have any reference of her speaking yet. So I don't know if it like came out afterwards or what. And there was a lot of Anya and Twilight, but I was like, oh no, there's almost nothing of Yor. So I didn't know what to expect. And the audition document just said that, she's an assassin. And I went in thinking, oh, she's going to have the kind of low, very calm, confident assassin demeanor and characteristic. But then all the audition lines, I was like, this doesn't sound like that type of a character at all. Like, she doesn't sound like that at all. So fortunately, we had a copy of the manga in the house. I went and read it. I was like, I need to understand. I clearly missed something. I need to understand this character. And the first thought was, oh my God, no, she's a nervous wreck who does one thing well. And so that completely changed how I approached it, where I was like, okay, so she has like 2 completely different personalities essentially. So that gave me the sense of like, oh, I want to make her nervous and kind of pitch her up and have the nervous quality to her voice. And then when she's actually in the assassin mode, which was one of the audition lines, then I was like, this is where she is calm, confident, and she's actually sounds like what she does. I can relate to that. I mean, it's like stepping into the booth as an actor. Like, I'm a nervous wreck. It's great. But when I step into the booth, I have to play soldiers, assassins, warriors, stuff like that, and I have to sound like I'm very confident. So that was kind of how I made that like flip in my brain, is it's kind of like a performance almost.
Now, in this particular series, both of you play a mother-daughter duo, but you actually also played a mother-daughter duo in Attack on Titan. Did you know that before being cast in this role?
No, we sure didn't.
No, we didn't. And then someone said it at a convention. They were like, yeah, you're her mom in this too. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was
Look
kind
at
of
that.
one of those moments of, oh my God, I guess we are.
We sure are, aren't we? Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun when it's fun when you realize, because sometimes we're doing so much, or, maybe Sasha's mom only shows up like a little bit here or there, so you don't really think about it that much, and then someone will tell you and you're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's it's like the meme where it's like, man, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's funny it happened twice.
Yeah.
And what has been some of your favorite scenes to record from what you've been able to record, whether it be in the first season or the first few episodes that are dubbed currently?
One of my favorite episodes is the episode where they take Anya to the castle and she gets to play pretend, and Lloyd has to come save her. Yeah, that was one of my favorites, because anytime Anya gets to just be silly and like have fun is really fun to me. I also love doing anything that is, because I've read the manga too, so every day I'm like, oh, are we getting to that part? Which Chris, our director, lied to me, and he almost got me. I was like, I'm so excited to punch Damian. I'm so excited because it was so funny in the manga, and he really fooled me. He was like, yeah, they didn't put it in the anime. They didn't do it. And he was so straight-faced. Him and Helena, our engineer at the time.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
They were in on it together, and they lied to me, and I was like, really?
That's devastating.
They did it? I was really hurt. So I love like any of her big iconic moments and getting to do that. And I'm trying to think, now that Bond is here in the new season, anything with Bond, I'm in love. I love that dog. I would die for him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say the castle episode is also great. That was so fun, and like literally anytime Yor is drunk is really, really fun. So the dinner scene with Yuri is like one of my favorites too, just because of how absurd that got, and the levels of like we were screaming just at each other. It was so funny. And I remember the first time I watched that episode ahead because I had read the manga and I knew that was going to be really funny. And so I was watching it late at night. I was by myself that weekend, and I saw the scene where Yuri runs into the wall, and I just lost it. That was like peak comedy. I was like, oh my God, this is great. So that was such a fun episode. Yeah. And you actually directed.
I directed her for that too. Yeah, because I direct and I'll do all that stuff too. So yeah, I got to direct Natalie for like half of the drunk stuff, and it was really funny. So
we had a great time.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Well, speaking of directing, I mean, you just mentioned it, Megan. You've done some directing. You've also done some adaptation work for music. Yes. And Natalie, you actually have experience as an ADR audio engineer. Can you maybe give some insight into that world and maybe how it can also play a part in voice acting?
Yeah, so for directing, it's crazy. I started out doing assistant directing, which I'm also doing this season. I'm actually assistant directing Spy Family. So yay, I'm doing everything. But I was going, because actors kind of go through, especially in voiceover and in anime especially, because it's all seasonal. So you'll go through periods where I have lots of work this season, and then next season, maybe I'm not in as many things. And so I went through a dry spell, but I was assistant directing a ton. It was all I was doing every night. I was up at the studio kind of filling in and helping get all the overflow so we could get everything done. And it was crazy, because when I finally got another role, I realized just how much it affected my acting ability and my ability to time things, and just how much I absorbed without realizing it. And it was really cool to see how that happened. So.
Yes, definitely same. Like, I originally got into audio engineering because I, for the longest time, was convinced there's no way I will ever make it as a professional actor, and I need to have a real career that supports me. And so I knew I liked working with audio, so audio engineering felt like a very natural progression of something that would allow me to still work in the industry and act when I could have the opportunity. So I got into that, and it was just eye-opening, because it really is such a really intense way to learn the process of ADR, especially where we're dubbing, and to understand how lines fit and what timing looks like, and to really pay attention. It gave me so much insight, because I got to watch so many actors working and be directed, and listen to directors work with actors, especially hearing directors work with both new actors and experienced actors, and the differences between there and the things they were suggesting for reads. So the couple years I spent really audio engineering was like a master class of just constantly watching different actors. And by the time, after a couple of years, I really had a much better sense for a lot of different facets of the industry and just how to do my craft better. So it was absolutely invaluable, I would say.
And you've both done a few projects now. Is there anything that you've worked on that you just absolutely love, that if you could talk about it, shout it out to the world, what would it be?
I recently did a lot of song adaptation for the latest One Piece arc. It was the Whole Cake Island arc. They do a lot of singing, lots of crazy songs, lots of crazy characters. That was really, really fun, and I was really proud of what I did because a lot of people really loved it. So seeing how well it was received was really special because a lot of times I just adapt things here and there in like a random episode that some people will watch, but not really. But to adapt something for One Piece was really special because it's such a huge franchise. And so and I even got to sing one of my own creations, which was fun. So at the very, very end of the Whole Cake Island arc. So yeah, that was really fun. Yeah.
I would say I recently, in the past year, got to work on a show called Moriarty the Patriot that I really, really loved working on. I play Irene Adler and James Bond, which was absolutely a delight. I love that character so, so deeply. It was such a wonderful role and so fulfilling. So I love that show. It's just wonderfully dark and complicated, and I loved getting to dig into something that gritty but also very indulgent in a lot of ways. So I loved working on that. I also just got to record for World of Warcraft, which was just really cool because I didn't play the game, but it was something I've known about, have been aware of like so many years, and I always thought it was so aesthetically such a cool world and game, and I got to play an elf, and that was such a huge milestone too, so that was really cool for me.
And lastly, here at the Popverse, we celebrate the best in TV, movies, and comics. So what is something that you are geeking out about right now that you're not working on?
I have been geeking out about Stranger Things for the last 4 months now.
Amazing.
So unless you don't want to, I could do a TED Talk about the love of my life, Eddie Munson. So, but Natalie knows, she's had to go to mini cons with me and hear me just lose my mind. But yeah, so that's my thing that I love right now, that I'm just love it.
I've been just digging into this book series recently that I'm obsessed with. It's called Gideon the Ninth. It's the Locked Tomb series, and the pitch is basically lesbian necromancers in space, and it's easily some of the best written, smartest sci-fi I've ever read, and I am absolutely obsessed. I totally love this series so much, so I'm just like, please go read it. It's so good.
Well, thank you so much, Megan and Natalie, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.